Hey everybody, good weekend, good Sunday. This is Doc Severson for the ReadySetCrypto OMNIA trade of the day for Sunday, the 8th of November. Okay, crypto's had a great run for the last couple of months here, October and early November. Everything is looking really good. What is the context? What is going on here? As always, I'm looking from the top down on the monthly chart. This is a monthly log chart, and this is what I've been using as my North Star for the last couple of years, getting through this, horrible bear pattern that we've been in seemingly forever and testing the resolve of every single crypto investor out there. And finally, those that stuck with it are reaping the rewards so far. So I want to answer a couple of questions like, okay, what's next and how far could this go? And what do you do if you're just not on this? If you're sitting on the sidelines watching like everybody else, afraid to jump on board? Well, we'll talk about that as well too. So far, this is looking really good. Again, this is just a big consolidation pattern happening at the weekly chart on the log scale. So the log scale tends to normalize everything. You can see this move here went from about 230 all the way up to 20,000. So this normalizes the percentage. And so we may expect to see the same kind of move. If we saw a similar move, we'd have the price up to about 100,000 for BTC versus the US dollar. So let's go out to a weekly chart. Now the weekly chart, what I've been thinking is that this is a cup with handle pattern. We've dropped down into March and then we've rallied back up again. And I was thinking that we'd probably have the neckline up here at 14,000. Well, guess what? Maybe the neckline was back down here at about 12,000. So this could have been the neckline that set up this breakout. Regardless, we have on tap for these types of moves. This is about, if you measure from the bottom of the cup pattern up to where the neckline is, so whether that's 9,000 or 10,000, it's immaterial. We have about a 10,000 point upside target on this. So that's going to give us somewhere 23,000, somewhere 24,000, whatever on this particular move. Now this might actually take months to play out. This is unlikely to go all the way up here at once, but I've been surprised all the way in the last couple of weeks. So it could do anything that it wants to do, but more than likely what I'm looking for is a change in character. Change in character, because what we've been going through is just this price can't get anywhere, right? Price cannot get anywhere. If you compare this character versus what we had back in 2017, you'll see an absolutely different type of character that shows up. So this is just a normal weekly chart. And what we'll see is we'll see these rallies, big rallies up, and then range expansion goes to range contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction, and then it just kind of exploded to the upside, right? We're not going to look for that just yet. Let's see if we can get the price to get into a repetitive pattern, which is what I call quiet and trending market character. This is the good stuff, right? The good stuff is where we have small parabolic rallies and then they shake everybody off. They shake off the pikers. They shake off the newbies that jump on board. Parabolic rally, shake off the newbies, get everybody scared to death, get the fear built up, and then squeeze those shorts to the upside. Now let's get down to the daily chart. And here's where we really start to need a little bit of structure. And this is where I will start to bring up things like the chop index. And the chop index is going to show us things like this, where we had a running consolidation. This is really rare to see this. And look at the energy that it built up. And so it's not surprising when you see this energy building up. It's almost like a pressure cooker that eventually explodes. It's got to go somewhere when all that energy builds up. And in this case, we're just going along with a trend to the upside. So this type of move is not going to sustain itself for very long. So typically when we see these breakout moves, I'm like, don't chase after it. Wait for it to set up, wait for it to flag out, wait for the energy to come back up again. And we may see another breakout or test of the breakout at 14,000. That's very, very normal to see. So if you're looking for an opportunity to jump on board, maybe either selling puts or having a limit order down at 14,000 may be the way to go. I do not think we are going to see 10,000 again anytime soon. Hopefully never. Let's go ahead and check those expected moves into the end of November and into the end of December. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pick this arc here, and I have an expected move of plus minus 1540. Now, last week when we did this, it was 1700. So into 27 November, we have a plus minus 1540 move. That's entirely normal. And right now I show that as 16906 is the upper level of that. 16906 is going to be the first coordinate. For that, the second coordinate, the one at the bottom of the expected move probability curve is going to be 13,836. And that's close enough. And so we're just going to bring that out there and tie that into the price today. That is our expected move probability into the end of November, 27th of November, a couple of weeks to go for that. So now we're going to do 25 December. And the upper expected move level for that is 17,856. So we'll get that close enough to there. That's the upper coordinate. The lower coordinate for 25 December is 12,896. 12,896. So you can see that we're kind of going well above that 10,000 level. Okay, that's close enough as well too. So we'll dial that in and we'll give this one a slightly different color just to give a little bit of difference between the two. Okay, so there we go. There's our expected move probability for 25 December. You can see how really it's the same kind of shape, and it's kind of surprising how big the one is for the end of November. So we're still looking, the options market's still looking to price in quite a bit of volatility into the end of this month. Volatility is increasing right now. Even though we've dropped a little in the expected move, the volatility continues to increase with the uncertainty. Now, I want to bring up the option of selling puts again, and this is something that I'll be talking about from time to time. I've talked about this over the years from time to time, and this is Ledger X. And the reason I'm bringing up Ledger X is because Deribit is basically going into full-scale nuclear lockdown mode on U.S. citizens. So what you have to do is, and something like this, if you look at 2020 December, so these are options that are just a few weeks out, you can see the strike prices here, and we're looking at the put options side. So remember the 14,000? You can get paid somewhere around $500 if you want to commit to buying a BTC, one BTC at 14,000 if you wanted to do something like that. These are fairly wide spreads. These are somewhat illiquid. You can see the open interest is only like 45 right now. So these are not optimal, but it is a way that you can get paid for taking a pullback or committing to buying something on a pullback. And this is your passive income. If you look at bringing in $500 for selling against the 14,000 put and committing yourself to that 14,000 buy, that's about, quick calculation, that's about 3.5% for doing absolutely nothing. Sitting on your tail for the next 6 weeks and letting your money work for you overnight. So this is a classic way of making money while you sleep. Now, what's cool about Ledger X, if there is anything cool about Ledger X, is that they do micro contracts. So you can bring this down to 1/100th of a BTC. So in other words, if you're going to do something like this, you could get paid $5 for buying 1/100th of a BTC, right? It's the same percentages, same kind of thing. But this is one way that you can get started with trading options and using them to your advantage. The main thing that I'm using when I'm selling puts is asking myself, at what point would I be a willing buyer? Now, to me, 14,000, kind of aggressive. That may be the first stop down here. You could also look at something about 12,500 would be a much higher probability that the price is going to stay above there. That's that pivot. Former resistance becomes new support. So 12,500 is support for that. However, selling a put way down there at about 12,000, not going to pull in much on that. You may have to go out further in time and this is the key with selling puts, is wait for the pullback. So again, the best entries are the ones that feel the worst. If you're going to sell a put, wait for the pullback to come back down and the implied volatility goes up. Everything works in your favor if you're willing to go against the crowd. Yet another example of trading in a contrarian fashion, which is where the edge is. All right, let's fly through the rest of these top 20. Let's see what's going on here. I love Ethereum. We talked about this a couple of days ago. I love the breakout from here. I said it was going to break out. It did break out. This is like a textbook bull flag. Great energy on this guy. All right, let's bring up the CHOP index on here. When we have these high levels of energy on the CHOP index, the yellow line here, it's not going to sit in one spot. So if you're unconvinced that the price is going to break higher, you can always trade a straddle. That's usually where we have low volatility. You can trade a straddle. So if you don't care which way it goes, or if you're not sure that it's going to break out to the upside, straddle would be the good answer for that one. But right now, if you're not long, you are wrong when it comes to much of the top 10. That's Ethereum. That looks good. As we get out of the top 2, things get decidedly less great. Ripple's not great right now, still kind of mincing around. This is a good looking pattern on Bitcoin Cash, but it's got to break 280. And it's got certainly enough energy to do that. It just has to show some emphasis, right? It has to show intent, which it has not done. Binance Coin has been surprisingly wandering lately, and I think that's because so much money has been going into BTC. This has been put on the sidelines for right now. Binance Coin is a great play when there's no direction in the rest of the market. The utility coin tends to get some value from times like that. So like in September, everything else was kind of tanking and Binance Coin was super strong. And it's not the case right now. So it'll have its day once again. Chainlink is starting to finally grow up a little bit, but this to me, just looking at this is a bit of a bear flag pattern on a larger time frame. So watch carefully for this. If we break that lower trend line, this is not great for Chainlink. Again, the further we go down, the crappier the chart patterns get. This is Cardano, not that great. Litecoin actually has been pretty good lately. It's been mimicking the big brothers of Bitcoin and Ethereum. So this was the old number 3 coin and starting to look a little better now. Bitcoin SV, blah. EOS, no. Getting down to here. Now, this is Monero. Monero was one of our stars during the rest of when everything else was getting hammered. Monero was doing well. This is a larger time frame consolidation right now. So if you go to the weekly chart, this is the weekly chart saying, hey, give me a chance to rest for a few days. I love this pattern. If you look at this big basing pattern here, big cup pacing pattern here, and a break above, significantly above 125 should produce some good results, but it may take some time before that happens. Right now, it doesn't look like it's ready to go. Tron, Stellar Lumens, Tezos, a lot of these are just not doing anything. There's better places for your money than to chase stuff which continues to trend to the downside. So when we get out of the top 10, there's not much going on here. And we can also look at some of our altcoins that we measure, right? And these are doing okay. Some of these are getting somewhere, but really not anywhere. Look, are you serious? You really want to be invested in Raven as it continues to plummet, right? So I wouldn't worry about these things. Put your money into the blue chips for right now. The blue chips being the top 10. Really watch the top 10. This is where the money is going right now. This is institutional money coming into this. And really, this is the whole PayPal play, Stripe play, things like that. And they're going for the big coins. They're not going for the garbage. So really, the best advice I can give you is that get on board, but get on board on your terms. Never chase after this. So either you're going to use limit orders based on a pullback, or you're going to sell puts with cash settlement so that you do get assigned if that occurs. So you may as well get paid for buying something on the pullback. This is why I love the whole idea of selling puts. That is it for this weekend's report. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you back here on Monday.